So let's say in the beginning was only God, and there was nothing next to him. So when he wanted to create something, he had to create it out of himself. So when he decided to make a universe, stars, planets, black holes, whatever, he had to create those things out of himself. And of course, this sounds religious, but it's just useful to describe it this way so you can understand how everything is actually still one and unity was never lost. So if you stop believing in a separate God, but actually look around you and you realize that everything is still the same thing appearing as different things, then you realize that unity was never lost, but God had to create, or consciousness or the unknown had to create what looks like separate things out of himself. So when he created the Garden of Eden, and that sounds very biblical, but as I said, it's just useful to explain it in this way. When he created this garden, the reason why it was paradise and it was so peaceful is because every single seeming separate thing that was inside of this garden knew that it is not separate from its creator, because creation and creator are one and the same thing. So Adam and Eve were in peace because they were both recognizing God in each other. But today, we are identified as a person, and this is a head, this is a body. And we ate from this fruit of the knowledge of good and bad. So now we have knowledge, we think that we know something, and we became our own gods. Of course, this is only metaphorical. And we have this knowledge, and we think that we are something separate that looks outside into this world, and there's like mountains and trees and a dog, a beautiful dog. Look at him. And we think that we are something that knows the world by concepts. So this person says this is a dog, this is a tree, this is a mountain. Because there's a point, let's call it the small self, and it consists out of concepts. And now this self says, I want to escape the matrix, I want to enlighten. I want enlightenment, I want to awaken. So it just accumulates even more concepts from gurus to understand conceptually and intellectually how to wake up. But it's only strengthening the self, the matrix, the illusion of there being a separate person. Now, the guru tells them there's no way to wake up because everything is already awake. And he tells them that you cannot learn how to wake up because it is already awake. So every thought, every feeling is already the unity expressing itself right in the way it's expressing itself right now. So what to do? You actually cannot do anything except recognizing that this self that is seemingly inside of you, but the you think you are is the self. So this self is constantly moving. It is those thoughts and emotions here are constantly moving. So let's say there's a river and there are some birds. It is absolutely clear that this river and the birds are constantly moving, and you don't try to stop those things. But somehow those concepts think that they are a self, and they want to stop the emotions, and they want to do something about the ego. They try to do something about itself as if that's possible. But once it's realized that, wait a minute, there's no one in this body that actually can do something about the concept, the self, and the emotions, because it is just as moving as the bird, and it's moving like a river. It is just as free-flowing, without free will, like anything. So there's no one that has control over anything, and this body is just freely moving. And even the thought that says, I don't believe this, it just came out of nowhere. You had no control over that thought. So this is the world. which is still united with its creator, which is not a creator somewhere in the skies, but the creator is the creation. So even this paper right now, in this drawing, in the movement of creating this drawing and video, is a creation created by the creator, which is the same as the creation itself. So when you think that you are a self, and you try to see or try to understand how this man is one with this tree, so by some techniques he might try to feel the connection between this person and this tree, this body and this tree. When the guru says you are one with the tree, you try to understand how is it possible to actually feel that you are one with this tree. But it doesn't work this way. You don't have to become one with the tree, because you are already one with the tree. So you don't have to do anything. Just recognize that you have absolutely no idea what this tree is. It's just an appearance and consciousness that looks green and brown. And the one looking at it is just an eye that looks at something. So it actually consists out of the same consciousness that the body is made out of, but the consciousness uses this body to experience itself within its own dream. So it's already one thing. So even the thought that says right now, that's very hard to understand. That's just an appearance appearing in consciousness, and you didn't create that thought. It just came out of nowhere. So when you look around you right now, that is actually the spirit world. And it sounds very magical and woo-woo, but I'm just describing it in this way because when I had my first glimpse, I experienced it as a spirit. That was before I knew that some people call it consciousness. So when I had my first glimpse, I looked at my hand and I was like, that's crazy, man. What is a hand? What is this? It actually exists, but I have actually no idea about this hand except the concepts I have of it. So knowledge take away the magic of life, actually. So there's a movie, Avatar, the Lord of the Four Elements, I think is what it's called. There's a scene where he switches into the spirit world and everything looks the same, but all of a sudden it's completely clear that everything that is seemingly matter consists out of the same spirit. So it is spirit pretending to be matter. There's no difference between consciousness and matter. And when you try to understand matter, you try to touch it and you try to investigate what it is, you look at atoms, you see that atoms are just another appearance in consciousness. And you can split that atom in two and try to find out what it actually is, but it's just another appearance, another form, and the mind is just giving it a name. So it wants to understand what it is, but it actually has no idea what it is. So everything is the great mystery, but it's actually so known once you stop trying to figure it out by intellectual knowing and you start to witness it with pure, direct seeing. So it's absolutely not complicated, just the pure witnessing of what is. So let's just say, so that we can have an example, that in this example, God himself is the color blue. So this color blue is God. But now this conceptual self says, I cannot see blue. I only see tree and dog and emotions and concepts and thoughts and my body and this external tree and the mountain and the birds. I don't see blue. But now the guru says, in order to recognize blue, you have to stop trying to recognize it because it's already all there is. Because you see, this is blue, this is blue, this is blue, everything is blue. And there's like the best way to witness it is actually to witness your own thoughts, how they come out of nowhere. It's like, who's thinking the thought? When I'm asking you, think of an animal, like right now. The mind just said dog or cat or lion, but there was no one who was figuring out what animal should I choose. It's just, it says something, or I give you 1 second time to say a number right now. It just came out of nowhere. So everything is just one happening. And some spiritual teachers say that we were once in a state of unity, and we will go back into the unity after billions and billions of years, but right now we are in separation. No, separation never happened. It's just a concept happening in unity. It's an illusion. We are in unity right now. When someone tells you you have to attain something to become what you already are, then that's obviously the devil talking, because he wants you to be in the illusion, which is not an evil thing, but it's just the game. It's just the hide and seek game that God is playing with himself. Hide and seek. Incarnating in himself, trying to find himself, not recognizing himself, but only seeing dogs and trees and birds and mountains. Until one day, he recognizes, wait a minute, how the hell is it possible for there to be a dog? It has to be like an aliveness there. What is this aliveness? It's not separate from life itself. The dog is not separate from life. The bird is not separate from life. This is not separate from life. This is not separate from life. Everything consists out of life, or call it consciousness, or the big mystery, or the big I don't know, or the big God, or whatever you want to call it. But wherever you look, whatever you hear, whatever you taste or touch, it's a mystery, and it's exactly what you're looking for.